All right. Welcome back to Is Anything Real in Paid Advertising, the show where agency founders unpack what's real and what's just noise. I'm your host, Adam W. Barney, and today we've got someone who's not just keeping up with AI's pivot, he's training it to work smarter. Ben, welcome.
Hey,
how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Excited to chat.
Awesome. You want to give about 2 seconds on where you come from, what you're building with Rise Marketing Group before we dive in?
Yeah, definitely. So, my name is Ben. I'm the founder of Rise Marketing Group. I've been in the marketing and advertising industry for 20 years now, which is crazy. Started off earlier in my career at companies such as Yahoo, when that was a thing, when people went to the Yahoo portal to access the internet. And then over time, I worked at a big agency. Then I worked at Google up here in Cambridge. We live in the greater Boston area. And then a little over 7 years ago, I founded Rise Marketing Group, and we're a full-service digital marketing firm offering ads, SEO, website design development, email marketing.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's start with a quick pulse check. With Google specifically dropping more AI into the ad mix daily, is anything real anymore in paid media from that perspective?
Oh yeah, it's getting crazy, but it's also very exciting in the same lens. I mean, one of the draws to advertising 20 plus years ago for me was it's always changing. So it's exciting. It's if the Google product and the Google ecosystem was never changing, you just had your traditional search campaigns and based off a different phrase match, you probably get bored of it after a little while, but it's constantly changing, and Google is keeping up with all things AI because they kind of have an arms race going on against ChatGPT, Perplexity, and all the AI tools that can now provide just as good of a search engine or knowledge engine as Google can. And we're starting to see a shift in consumer behavior, and that has Google a little concerned, or probably way more concerned. And then so they're updating their ecosystem to be more AI heavy from both an organic perspective and then also from an advertiser perspective as well.
Right. And I know that's something that's changed over 20 years. I mean, maybe we could talk a little bit more about how, the Google beast has shifted from having 90 plus 98% maybe percent of the search share, and how that's changed over recent years. That's driving a little bit of the shifts here that we're seeing with Google's approach and how they relate to all of the other search bars that are out there across different platforms.
Definitely. It's and even if we talk about that, consumer behavior is changing, it is important to know that Google is still Google. Google is not going to disappear next year. They have a lot of smart people trying to figure it out, but their share will definitely deteriorate, and then they're going to lean on some of their other products that they're not going to lose share on, like such as YouTube. But yeah, like even I think it was noted earlier this year was like the first time that Google search market share started to decline. Now it only declined from like 90% to like 89%, but that 1% times global population, that's a lot of searches that are happening. And if that's a sign of what is to come, that is a little nerve-wracking for them. And where are the folks going to? I mean, Microsoft still hangs in there. Bing and their search alliance with Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, which has been an engine that's increasing popularity. But hats off to Microsoft, because I feel like once people started like, Microsoft, who uses Bing, who does, they made it relevant through the partnership with OpenAI and ChatGPT, and it put a lot of new life into them, and not only from their search product, but then also within ChatGPT and all the other tools. And at our practice, for every one of our SEO clients, we track referral traffic of where's all this traffic coming from. And we are starting to see referral traffic from these AI tools increase month over month at a high clip, granted small base to start, so it's nothing too exciting, but it is exciting of the growth. And we're even seeing business impact from this. What does that mean? E-commerce, real purchases, leads, real leads. And I can speak firsthand experience. We actually got a client last fall that found us on ChatGPT. He's on the other side of the country. Turned out to be a great client. We're still working with him today, but he prompted his whole project, said, who should we work with? And he said, talk to Ben at Rise. I'm like, I don't know how that happened at the time, but not complaining.
That's an incredible referral story actually to talk about that I don't think most people understand. Of course, there's that level set with, the way Bing operates. And I have to admit, part of my 20 years in a nonlinear digital marketing career and a marketing career across, large companies was spent at Microsoft working on the Bing Ads product.
Cool.
And it's incredible to see, and understand how maybe Bing doesn't come to the forefront of the conversation necessarily, but they're powering things like ChatGPT, like Siri. They sit behind the scenes in so many of these scenarios. But let's shift it back a little bit to Google as well. I know you were just recently on a Google marketing call where they were talking about launching their next gen AI updates. From your perspective, what's actually changing behind the scenes with these tools, rather than just thinking about, say, the consumer end where the search engine results page now gets that dynamically updated AI answer, which sits above where the paid ads sit, rather.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of SEOs don't like that move because it's less referral traffic, but you just have to play the game. You have to stay with it and then try to get featured on that and all that good stuff. But yeah, and like behind the scenes, obviously they need to compete with this new experience that people like. They like the AI overviews and things like that, and also give options for people to do their own research and due diligence by sending out referral traffic, which I feel like they're hearing loud and clear that is important to do. Because if you don't do that, eventually you don't know where this AI is sourced from. And I just read an article just a couple of days ago that the AI content engine is already starting to show signs that it's declining, because if everyone's using AI for content, you're just making clones of clones of clones of clones, because that's all AI does. It just picks up whatever. And if anyone saw the old school movie Duplicity with Michael Keaton or so, you can't make a clone of a clone. It just doesn't work that well. And then if you do it multiple times over, then you're just going to get garbage. Right. But kind of behind the scenes a little bit, what we're seeing and hearing from Google is they're actually penalizing sites that primarily use AI content as the main content source, because they know if that's the main source of content, their AI crawlers are using it, and it's just going to be a really bad experience. And in that case, it makes me, kind of happy that Google's taking that stance to it, because otherwise, if anything's too easy or too good to be true, it probably is. And it comes down to like a real, having real marketers and really copywriters providing real value-driven content. And then on the ad side, Google's making a lot of updates on the back end. They're really pushing towards AI, which they've done years ago with the advent of Performance Max, which is an algorithmically derived campaign serving ads across all of their platforms: search, display, YouTube, email, etc., targeting a specific conversion event. But now they're rolling out Search AI, which we're excited to try, which is very similar to that, but a search product where you just give it the parameters and it's just going to go crazy. Google's pushing that. They think they can monetize that really well. Time will tell.
I think we're even at a point, where, Google has gone over the last few years, for people who aren't under the hood, launched things not only like Performance Max, but responsive search ads. I think we're at a pivot point possibly where even the idea of a keyword and the definition of a keyword is going to shift. We've always, across our careers, I think, talked about the need from a paid ads perspective within Google that you always needed to connect the dots of keyword to ad copy to landing page, which then led into that black box of quality score.
Yep.
But now it's more about letting it fly, right? And kind of trusting the Google engine. So I know you've said it before that agencies aren't dead, but they just need to train the algorithm properly. How do you coach your team and your clients to think like AI whispers and not just like they're button pushers?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot there. Yeah, there's a lot there. Unfortunately, like, yeah, it was really nice when, you had the exact match keyword or the appropriate copy and best landing page. And it's like, if anyone does this search, this keyword is worth $5 a click because I'm going to make $15 or whatever in revenue from it. And that was just great. And then, yeah, Google's since then they made exact match, now phrase match. And then now phrase match is more broad match, and broad match, who knows? Good luck.
the good old match type dance that
I know.
Always have to lead clients through that conversation and explain time and time again how match types are different, and match types are even going away, right? So I think
they're going away. So eventually, you're right. Like with AI Max, it's not going to be match type derived campaigns or potentially even really search keywords. It's going to be, here are my URLs. Here's this. Go crazy. So, what we focus on is we have to feed the algorithm, we have to feed the AIs and give Google the best information possible. So underpinning it, which we've always been really good at even before the AI push, is setting up proper measurement and tracking, which means every action that's valuable on the website that is funneling through GA, that's funneling through Google Ads. Because ultimately, you're going to tell Google Ads, and Performance Max works just like this. They're not CPC bids. It's, hey, this is my conversion action. Either maximize these conversions or pay up to $20, $100, whatever it is, cost per conversion. And it will hit those metrics. But you need to have the data in real time coming in, and also sufficient budgets to support that learning. It's going to be really hard for small businesses that adopt these AI advertising products that need a lot of data when they just don't have that marketing budget. So they might, that's a little tough for them. But it's different, but it's exciting. It's an opportunity. And so we always try to be the first at everything and just kind of get a good understanding and lead our clients to success early before everyone else catches on.
It's about not being scared of it, right? And embracing the change, which is the thing that when it comes to marketing in general, digital marketing overall, but paid marketing, especially paid advertising, it's always an evolution. It's always changing. And I know you touched on this quickly, how reporting is finally sort of catching up here. What would you say, just when we talk about broad strokes, whether it's B2B, B2C, small business, enterprise scale company, which metrics are the most critical to AI strategy feedback loops to focus on?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a couple things. So obviously, like if you're lead gen, having like that main conversion event to be that lead that comes through. Even better is if you can follow those leads through to the sales cycle through a CRM platform like HubSpot or whatever it might be, and importing those into Google. So Google's like, okay, I'm optimizing towards these leads, but over time it might say, oh, wow, these leads became customers. And then you place different value amounts. So that way Google is not only just, years ago, just focused on the click,
right?
Last 5 years, focused on that lead. And now future, like actually like getting real business. And then that shows real dollar signs that any company can see and CFO can see. I'm like, oh, okay, yep, I see it. You are making money off of this, and this is a good thing. But the challenge is budgets have to support it. So if you have a campaign that, you can't have a campaign spending, $20 a day and say optimize towards real customers, because maybe your sales cycle is 90 days and you're going to get like one conversion event every month, maybe. It's never going to learn. So in those cases, you have to be flexible. Like, okay, I can't have it focus on that sale event. Maybe it's just driving leads, or it could even be, which we do sometimes, is optimized towards site engagement. So it's like, okay, if anyone who's clicked on my ad has been on my site for at least a minute, that's a positive sign, and maybe we can get enough conversion volume off of that for it to optimize. So there's a lot of ways to think about it. But again, the whole spirit is training the bots with your budget based off of your goals and kind of moving in that direction.
And then that opens up that wonderful world of retargeting, right? Yep. So retargeting is always a piece of the puzzle here. How do you sort of, from a Rise marketing perspective, explain the value of the strategic oversight that you provide to clients versus the clients who just believe in this old school adage of, say, set it and forget it?
Oh yeah, you cannot set it and forget it. And if you do, like, yeah, campaigns will just deteriorate. And heaven forbid, if you have Google auto recommendations enabled, I would actually be really curious. That'd be quite funny to see how an account could just be like, oh, we're increasing budgets, we're changing match types, we're doing this, and what would happen. And even like working, I worked at Google and I had a great experience, and I still have friends over there. And there are great Google reps over there, but there's also reps that aren't as knowledgeable or maybe put their interest way ahead of clients. And to a client that doesn't have a consultant or an agency, they'll just finally say, oh yeah, Google, I'm talking to Google, I'll do whatever they say. But Google really prioritizes themselves over the client. You need someone there to be like, okay, all right, of your 10 recommendations, I like 3 of them. Yep. 2 I'm on the fence on, and these other 5, I can see right through this. No thanks, not at this time.
Right. That's when the BS meter goes up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd love to understand from your perspective, what do you think breaks first, though? Is it the agencies who over-automate, or is it the platforms that over-promise on the quote-unquote magic that AI is delivering?
Yeah, definitely. I think it comes down to the agency to make the right decisions for the clients. And then, yeah, it just comes down to, and I see this in agency land all the time where, agencies will come and go and rise and whatnot. But the agencies that I have that don't really do a good job for their clients are those agencies that they go after a specific niche and then they over process everything and then just put like a junior marketer to run everything. So at this point, there's an agency for everything. You could say, oh, give me the best agencies for HVAC. I'm making this up now, but it could be best agency for bowling alleys. And like, oh, we're the specialized. And, they put together amazing processes, but they don't have a real marketer at the helm. And right. I hear this from our clients or clients that come to us, because I hear it, I'm like, okay, well, benefit is they do have a decent system, but they just have someone that's following a playbook versus a real marketer to navigate them through the change of lens and can provide real meaningful advice. So right. In that case, I think it really falls down on the agency to be that true trusted partner to navigate the clients and not just rely on over-processed deliverables.
I have to laugh because that brings me back about 20 years to my first role in marketing, where our client was lawyers.com, and literally law firms across the country could buy packages of 10, 15, 25, or 50 keywords at different investment levels. Talk about a specialized approach that didn't work from an effectiveness level. Also lawyers.
Uh-huh.
What are you going to track back to, right? From an hourly billable rate, you can't really lead to a conversion. It's a complicated way to work towards that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that sense, though, Ben, outside of course, what you're doing from your expertise standpoint there at Rise Marketing, is there someone else in your circle who's getting it really, really right now that you might want to recommend or mention here?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, no companies come to mind. Everyone, sorry, that's a bad answer. But, there's not like one marquee company of like, oh my gosh, in the age of AI, they're just knocking it all out of the park. I think everything is on a scale. Some agencies are probably like, you know what, they got AI down really well as it comes to e-commerce, feed optimization, awesome. And other agencies might do, provide some good ideas for SEO, which is now called generative engine optimization. There's like 5 other names for it. But what I would stay away from is if you're talking to an agency and if you're on the market for one, ask them, what are you doing for your clients on AI? And I hear this out on the field, like we go to trade shows, and the worst answer you ever want to get is, oh, I don't think it's really going to impact our clients that much. And I've heard that twice over the past month of agency leaders. They're like, we're a local shop, and I don't really see it's going to impact us that much. As like, okay, I just smiled and kind of walked away. But that's an example of an agency or shop where it's like, they probably know it does impact. They just don't want to invest the time and the resources to make it work. They're like, we have our tried and true, so let's just sit on that. So that's a roundabout way of, I'm sure there's a lot of shops that are doing certain aspects well. Just stay away from those that aren't doing anything with it.
It's about always being learning, though, right? It's always learning and being moldable. Yeah. Ben, where can people learn more about your work and Rise Marketing Group's approach here?
Yeah, our website is risemkg.com. Otherwise, just Google or ChatGPT, Rise Marketing Group. Check out our website. We publish a lot of content on it. Most recently, a lot of AI type content just to help navigate our clients or prospective clients. And if anyone's listening and wants to schedule a quick call to talk about their business, more than happy to.
Cool. Perfect. And then let's end with if someone's feeling overwhelmed by the AI wave in this space, what's one no BS piece of advice to help them pivot smarter or adjust smarter?
Yep. If they're feeling overwhelmed, they're not alone. Nobody knows the answer. So just kind of like set the record straight. Like they're not behind. They're actually ahead if they're actually concerned about this. They're well ahead. And then the best thing that you can do is just read. Go. I have my list of sites that I go to: Search Engine Land, Search Engine Watch, Search Engine Roundtable. They have a lot of coverage, and just get to know it. But if you're actually feeling a little anxious of are you on top of everything, you're probably ahead of most people.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Ben. That's a wrap on this episode of Is Anything Real in Paid Advertising. Massive thanks to Ben and Rise Marketing Group for joining here today. If you're looking for some of that AI clarity, definitely reach out to him. You can hit the show notes for links to Rise Marketing Agency and Ben below. And if you're ready to rebuild or build with AI in the forefront, definitely reach out to him. And then until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay real.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
All right. Cheers, Ben. Thank you. Want to clean up your offer and install a lead gen machine that won't burn you out? Head to adamwbarney.com and check out the Agency Growth Sprint, built for $250K to $5 million a year ad agencies ready to scale with clarity, not chaos. If you're done duct taping systems and sprinting to nowhere, it's time for strategy that sticks. Visit adamwbarney.com. Clarity over chaos, always.